Hello, buddy. Welcome to the backbone of the internet. I'm your host, MrBonesy, and I'm with my co-host.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. It is I, the illustrious Loud Ghost 64.
Yes.
Yes.
And today's episode is actually going to be a Loud Ghost topic, which he's contractually obligated to do a Christmas episode. I'm actually just quoting his exact words from the Halloween episode.
Yeah, bitch. Hello, everyone. It's I, Loud Ghost 64, and today is the Christmas episode. Yes, sensational. Yes.
So what are we talking about, Ghost?
So first and foremost, I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful Christmas 10 days from now, because that's 15/25.
Yeah.
I will not be working Christmas, thankfully. I instead working New Year's, so I will enjoy my Christmas as well.
I also don't work Christmas, so we'll be off on that day too.
Excellent. Anyway, so hopefully everyone has a good Christmas. If you're working, thank you for working. If you're not, thank the guy who's working. Anyway, so today's topic is Christmas. Now, when understanding and trying to formulate this episode's topic, I was thinking, what the fuck should I talk about Christmas? And initially, I was thinking about we should talk about like Christmas movies, so like The Grinch and like technically Nightmare Before Christmas, or just Christmas movies in general. And if we thought they were like to the holiday spirit, but then I thought, no, we were just gonna stop talking about Christmas movies because like we're eventually gonna hit a wall. So
there's 100%.
I didn't want that. So instead, I just thought, you know what? Whenever someone thinks of Christmas, when do you think of Christmas? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Well, usually Santa Claus, presents.
Exactly, Santa Claus and presents.
And the color red.
Everything else that Exactly. So today's episode will be about the big jolly man himself, Santa Claus.
Saint D. Nick.
Where'd you get the D from?
Isn't D actually part of his Saint? You know what? Never mind. Continue.
Anyway, today's episode will be Santa Claus. So so all the viewers know, I'm pulling out this thick red book and just kind of slapping the table. So right here is everything the Loud Ghosts have on Saint Nicholas, aka Santa Claus. So let's read it out. So, everyone knows Santa Claus or Santa or Saint Nick or Saint Nicholas or Father Christmas or Kris Kringle or any million number of names anyone else in the planet gives them is, of course, Santa Claus, a legendary figure who is said to bring gifts during the late evening and overnight hours on Christmas Eve. Santa Claus is stayed to work with Christmas elves who work in Santa Claus's workshop, and also has an ensemble of reindeer who pull his sled through the air. Now, this is the current modern edition of Santa, and Santa Claus's origins kind of go back a long time. Sometimes during the 1800s, I think. Late 1800s really? Is where story.
Yes. That makes sense. That makes sense. If you said early, that would have confused the hell out of me.
Modern-ish Santa became 1800s. It's actually an older version of him, Sinterklaas, came from the 17th century, actually. So 1600s. So we gotta talk about this. Where did the idea of Santa Claus come from? So, as everyone knows, one of his nicknames is Saint Nick. And dear Mr. Bones, do you know where the name Saint Nick comes from?
It comes from not the Bible exactly, but Christianity, right?
Yes, it is from Saint Nicholas, and this is where we begin the origins of Santa Claus. So this man is Saint Nicholas, so also known as Nicholas of Bari or Saint Nicholas of Myra, was in super early.
Are you saying like the early chapters of the manga, Santa Claus is with Jesus Christ?
Sort of, think of it like season 0 of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's not like canon, but like it's kind of there.
You're saying the Bible and Jesus ain't canon? I like to think Jesus and Santa Claus clasped hands.
Hold on. Let's calm down because Saint Nicholas was born around 270 AD, so 250 years after, or 230 years after Jesus died. So No, they didn't actually meet.
Maybe Santa
Um,
Claus is actually the resurrection of Christ.
Okay. Anyway, Jesus.
That's why he's so
Christ.
jolly. And he's always because he's forgiving all of our sins.
Okay, let's ignore that blasphemy and instead talk about Saint Nicholas, a bishop of Greek descent from the city of Patara in modern day Turkey. And he was around during the time of the Roman Empire, actually.
So are you saying that he was around? Are you saying he's a Roman?
No, he's Greek. He's Greek descent who's from Turkey during the time of the Roman Empire.
So during the time of the Roman Empire, I don't know
He
exactly.
did his deeds, yes.
Well, yeah,
So like 500, 200 to like, I think like 200 to 300 AD is the Roman Empire. Off the top of my head, please someone correct me down in the comments below.
But is he a Roman? Like, did he participate with the Roman Empire?
I can't remember if modern Turkey was part of Rome Empire.
Hypothetically, if it was, that means Kratos and Santa Claus were in the same boat.
Okay, gang, shut the fuck up.
That means they grasped hands together in war.
He's really trying to make Santa Claus clasp hands with someone. Jesus.
It's like, Ares, give me strength. And Santa Claus comes out crawling out of the dead bodies. He's like, Kratos, no, I'm here with you.
Okay. Anyway, Saint Nicholas is.
Here's the blades of jolliness.
Okay. He was what the fuck is saintized due to his apparently he had miracles he made, right? And these miracles are attributed to his power of prayer, where he prayed, and it's like an act it's called intercession. It's the act of praying on the behalf of others, or asking a saint in heaven to pray on the behalf of others. Basically, he prayed and helped other people through his praying. And through that, he became known as Nicholas the Wonder Worker. Saint Nicholas is the patron saint of sailors, merchants, archers, thieves who repent, children, brewers, pawnbrokers, toy makers, unmarried people, and students. His reputation evolved among the pious, as was common for early Christian saints, and his legendary habit of actually secretly gift giving gave rise to the next version of Santa Claus, known as Sinterklaas, which we'll get to in a second.
Interesting.
Let's just talk about,
I was just saying, interesting.
Yes, let's just talk about some feats from Saint Nicholas.
Feats? We're power scaling him now?
We don't know a lot about Santa Claus, right? Early accounts of his life were actually written hundreds of years after his death and are probably like not true.
So Santa Claus was an official. I guess he was officially alive. Like realistic, he's not like the Tooth Fairy. He was officially a thing at one point.
No, he was a person. He originated from an actual person. Yes.
God damn! I didn't know that actually. I thought it was like a Tooth Fairy situation. We kind of just made up this like mythos of a character.
He was actually a dude, Saint Nicholas, who gave gifts to children in secret.
Yeah, I mean, there's going on a lot in today's times. There's a lot of people doing stuff in secret with children. So I don't know if Saint Nick back then was a good guy.
No, he was, because one of the early attested and most famous incidents from his life is said he actually rescued 3 girls from being forced into prostitution by dropping a sack of gold coins through a window on their house each night for 3 nights, so their father could pay a dowry or a payment for each of them. So he basically got them out of prostitution.
Oh, well, you know what? Good guy, I guess.
Other stories say of him calming a storm at sea, saving 3 innocent soldiers from wrongful execution, chopping down a tree possessed by a demon. Excuse me, what?
Wait, what? What
yeah, so he chopped down a demon tree. Is that where the Christmas tree comes from?
Wait, is that where they? Is that the Christmas tree? Chopping? That's gnarly as hell.
I don't have the Christmas tree origin in front of me, but that's fucking crazy. I might have to look that up.
You gotta. That's how we got the Christmas tree in the houses, y'all. We're actually chopping down demon trees.
and keeping them sealed in our houses during the month of December. That's fucking stupid.
The reason why you keep them in the house is so we can watch it wither and decay, so we know the demon is no longer in control of that tree. Why would a demon take control of a tree to begin with?
Well, look at me. I'm not Saint Nicholas. Basically, he made a bunch of pillages. At some point, he became the bishop of Myra. And due to the Romans hating Christianity during like part of the Roman history, he was like put in prison. But after the ascension of a guy named Constantine, who became a Roman emperor and is famous for converting them to Christianity, he was released. He did a bunch of stuff. He was at something called the First Council of Nicaea, which is like an important historical date that I don't know a lot about. Some like and I just got this from like one or two articles. There's something where he like apparently slapped a heretic. But I don't have a lot on it. So
what did his slap do? His slap made him like all turn into snow, and that's like the origin stories of Frosty the Snowman.
Unsubstantial legends claim that he temporarily defrocked and imprisoned during the council for slapping a heretic Arius. Another legend tells how he resurrected 3 kids who were murdered and pickled in brine by a butcher, planning to sell them as pork during famine. He historical Santa Claus has the canonical power of calming storms and resurrecting kids.
Only children?
Huh?
Only kids, children? Yeah.
If I know, apparently can pray death away, so that's pretty cool, pretty powerful Santa. Anyway, after he died, about like 200 years after he died, a church was made in Myra, so like modern day Turkey, I think, where it served as where his remains were actually kept. In 1087, Greek Christians of the region were subjugated by the newly arrived Muslim Turks, and a little bit after the East-West Schism, blah, 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 a group of merchants from the Italian city of Bari actually removed a majority of St. Nicholas's bones from a sarcophagus in the church without authorization and brought them to their hometown, where it's now enshrined in the Basilica di St. Nicola, which houses a majority of his bones.
Do we still have the bones?
Yeah, it's in the church now. The Pontificia Basilica of Saint Nicholas.
Gotta take my kids there. You take my kids there and be like, yeah, I see that. That's Santa Claus. You were too naughty this year.
The remaining bones from the original sarcophagus were removed by soldiers and taken to the Vatican during the First Crusade.
Oh.
So a majority of his bones are in Italy, are in the Basilica of St. Nicola, and the rest of his bones are in the Vatican.
Interesting.
Yeah, but basically that's where it began. He became a saint. He helped kids. He did miracles, resurrections and stopping storms and saving people, blah, blah, right? And of course, as everyone knows, he gave gifts to kids. That was his main shtick. He gave gifts to kids. He became someone kids looked up to. And so that kind of started the Santa Claus myth in the form of Sinterklaas, or St. Nicholas in Dutch. And this version of Santa Claus, in most Sinterklaas interpretations, maintains the Archbishop clothes. Like, it has what would later become modern Santa Claus stuff, like the old man, white beard, clothing, stuff like that, but like a bishop hat and stuff.
So are you saying when I play chess, my bishop pieces are Santa Claus?
Yes, St. Nicholas was a bishop, yeah. So he became Sinterklaas, or Santa Claus, based on St. Nicholas, the patron saint of children. He is also known as other Dutch names as de Sint, or the Saint, de Good Sint, or the Good Saint, or de Gode Helgeman. I don't want to try that. Good Marriage Man. Good Marriage Man. Because apparently St. Nicholas could also help you get a good wife. So,
oh, damn.
Because he was the patron saint of single people. So he is apparently a very good matchmaker.
I guess that makes sense. Some people relate Christmas times to, like, romantic times, I guess.
Yeah, so Sinterklaas is in Dutch and like Netherlands countries, they celebrate Sinterklaas instead of Santa Claus. So Sinterklaas there's a feast of Sinterklaas on December 6th, which is St. Nicholas Day. So they do it there, like Sinterklaas feast on the 6th and 5th is what would be our Christmas Eve and Christmas. That's when the gift giving begins on the eve of St. Nicholas Eve, 5th December, into St. Nicholas Day, 6th December, in Belgium, Luxembourg, Western Germany, Northern France, this, that. Celebrated in territories of the former Dutch Empire, just Dutch. They're Dutch. That's Dutch Santa Claus. And this is where a lot of modern Santa Claus comes from, is Sinterklaas. And this is where a lot of modern, just like, inspiration for Santa Claus comes from. Sinterklaas is also one of the people who has a sidekick. It's like one of the Santa Clauses with a sidekick.
A sidekick?
Oh, shit. Yeah, we should probably put a warning in the beginning of this podcast.
For what?
So this podcast will contain racism and blackface. I'm warning you now. So here's the racism and blackface. So Sinterklaas, the Dutch Santa Claus, actually has a sidekick called Zwart Piet. Do you know what Zwart Piet translates into?
I am scared, but what? What does it translate to?
Pete.
Oh.
A helper dressed in attire and in black painted face.
Of course. You know.
Yeah. So Black Pete is the Dutch helper of Sinterklaas. And most interpretations make them look like...
Well, you say this.
Traditional interpretations make them look like that.
To describe the appearance, I am saying it is just all that is just blackface. That is just a guy.
Minstrel show style blackface. Yes.
Yeah, just like
Yes. So traditionally, Black Pete is actually a pretty good guy. He's assistant to the saint, distributes sweets and gifts to well-behaved children. It has gone through several changes. Since the mid-19th century, earliest known illustration comes from an 1850 book. This became the dominant version of him. He, of course, during the 21st century, is now a racial stereotype. As you know, usually he's depicted in blackface and curly wigs, bright red lipstick, and Renaissance attire. Yeah. So
where do you think he is now?
Oh, he's still around. People still use him.
Wait, what? What do you mean people still use him?
So Black Pete is still a thing in modern like Dutch celebrating of Sinterklaas. He has a bag with like candy and stuff he gives the kids. Tradition. Yep. He's also possibly the inspiration for Krampus, where he actually had a chimney broom made of willow branches he used to spank naughty kids. So he might be the interpretation of Krampus as well, or like one of the variations of Krampus, or like the inspiration for later Krampuses and stuff.
I didn't want to say it, but I was thinking of like inspiration for Krampus, but then I'm like, is that bad to think that?
Yeah. Some older Santa Claus songs made mention of Black Pete grabbing kids, putting them in his bags, and taking them to Spain for whatever fucking reason.
Well, no one wants to be in Spain.
Oh, this is because the Moors raided European coasts and took them to. It's a slave thing.
Oh, anyway, well. Making my little like innocent joke into
the Moors took people and made them slaves and stuff. Went all the way to Iceland, turned them to slaves and stuff. So Santa Claus actually has a bunch of companions, which we're going to get into later, maybe. And he's very similar to Krampus and other ones. Most modern interpretations don't have him do that, and he doesn't bring them back to Spain to be slaves if they're naughty. So he's just kind of a good guy. He gives kids candy. However, traditionally, the reason why his face is black is because he's a Moor, which is a term for Muslim North African people in Spain. Today, kids are told that his face is actually blackened with soot because he has to climb through chimneys to deliver gifts to Santa Claus. And I know what you're thinking. That doesn't look like that, but modern people realize that that's fucked up. So this is actually the modern interpretation of Black Pete, he's actually just a guy with just soot on his face, and they just do that.
That
They just do that.
is so. Yeah, so like the more photo, wow. So like modern day, as in like people over in like where Dutch, not Dutch.
Yeah, Dutchland,
Okay,
Netherlands,
well
I
the
guess.
second image you sent is straight up a
Yeah, that's the
blackface.
traditional. That's the traditional one that people are like, we should get away from that. We should get away from that.
Yeah, this
And
is
so
this
they
is
went to
just
the
a
top
guy with
one.
blackface with red
Yeah.
lips.
So there's actually a
It's so fucked up.
like social issue with that, where people are like debating like if they should do blackface. The traditional, more conservative people say yes, it's part of our tradition, while the people who aren't racist say, hey, let's not do that, and they do the soot version.
I feel like the soot version is just like it inches away from it too, because like it's just a person that's like presumably white, but like they just have a
Yeah.
bit of like darkness on their face because like oh
Because
it's
they
soot.
went through a chimney.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I feel like in general we should just like. I mean, well, I'm not Dutch, but
But
I feel like we should just
yeah,
gotta get rid of that in general.
well, that's yeah.
There's like no good.
That's
There's like no good way to like really excuse it.
they excuse it because it's their culture. Basically, is their excuse for the people who do that. I think I read somewhere that they actually like votes and stuff. Like, hey, should we keep the traditional version of Black Pete around? I think a majority of the populace is like, no, we should not. So overall, I think a majority of the country tries to move away from that, but there's still like hard-earned people are like, no, we should have blackface, Black Pete because it's part of our traditions, blah blah blah. But me personally, no, you should not.
Yeah, the fuck.
That's just me.
That
That's
is
just me.
that is a weird Santa Claus helper. That is an interesting like obscure fact though, because like don't when you think of like Santa Claus helpers, of course you think of all the like how many reindeers are there? Like
I
9.
have it somewhere. 9, yeah.
Oh, 9. I'm so proud of myself because I don't remember any of their names. And like of course Frosty the Snowman, which is not a Santa Claus helper, but he's definitely I don't know. He's definitely a Christmas character. I don't know what to classify Frosty the Snowman as.
I guess a Christmas character.
And then of course Mrs. Claus and stuff. But like that one is definitely an interesting history tab bit.
Yeah, we don't have that in our Western version of Santa Claus. Speaking of which, we're gonna get to someone. So that's Santa Claus, right? So
Yes.
eventually Santa Claus goes to America, like the tradition of Santa Claus goes to America, and it starts birthing our modern Santa Claus. But there's sort of a step evolution there where the English come up with a gift giver for Saint Nick, right?
Yes.
In the 15th century, so 1400s, right? Became a man named Father Christmas, right? Who's a little step closer to the modern Santa Claus, right? So Father Christmas is the traditional name for the personification of Christmas, not a separate man, but kind of like the avatar of Christmas, right?
Yes.
Although now known as a Christmas gift giver and to possibly be the same man as Santa Claus, who's actually older and part of unrelated English folklore. The recognizable modern figure of Father Christmas was developed in the Victorian period, but Christmas had a sort of personification for a long time before that, of course, helped by St. Nicholas. So after the English Civil War in like the 1600s, late 1600s, became the idea of Father Christmas. The Puritan-controlled government had legislation to actually abolish the original Christmas, right? Because they considered it popish because, St. Nicholas is, I guess, in the Vatican and stuff. So they see him more as like Catholic oriented, right?
Yes.
So they were going to get rid of that. So they linked old because of stuff. So political like cartoonists linked old tradition to their cause, adopting Father Christmas as a symbol of the good old days of feasting and good cheer, and following something known as the Restoration, which is like the restoration of like a monarchy and stuff and blah, 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 this, that. I'm not a real English history guy. You guys can fill it in the comments. I don't care. Father Christmas kind of declined, and he actually he came back a little bit late 18th, 19th century by like plays known as the Mummers plays. It's a thing. Until Victorian times, Father Christmas was concerned with adult feasting and merrymaking. He had no connection to children, nor the giving of presents, nocturnal visits, stocking, chimney, reindeer, blah, blah. But later, after Victorian Christmases developed into child-centric family festivals, he became the bringer of gifts. And after the creation of Santa Claus in the 1850s, Father Christmas actually started being kind of absorbed by Santa and gaining more and more of his like personality, his clothing, his everything. He slowly became Santa Claus.
You just got new drip.
Yeah, new drip. You know the Ghost of Christmas Present in you know what it's called?
Yeah, the Scrooge.
Yeah, you know the Scrooge and like the Ghost of Christmas Past and Present. So those share a lot of similarity with how Father Christmas was like shown. You know, Christmas Present with the wreath and then like the green clothing and stuff.
Yes.
So that was actually based off of, at the time, interpretation of Father Christmas, a man with thorny crown and green clothing, which the red wouldn't like kind of pop up until modern Santa, and Sinterklaas had it, but like modern Santa kind of boosted up during the 1900s. But yeah, later and later, like Father Christmas kind of gets replaced by Santa Claus. I think the English people still call him Father Christmas. Maybe, I don't know. I don't live in the UK and stuff, but that's their version of Santa Claus.
Maybe like older
I think
people,
so
but I don't think so. No.
But basically, think like when Santa Claus kind of became born in the conscious, it absorbed Father Christmas, right? Like when Santa Claus was born, quote unquote, Father Christmas got absorbed into him and then became one and the same. So basically, this is where we go to, right? Saint Nicholas, take him as a person, he's absorbed. Father Christmas, get him, he's absorbed. Sinterklaas, he's absorbed, right? Then like Germanic people had similar guys called I forgot his name.
You didn't write it down?
Oh yeah, I remember Odin.
Yeah, Odin, the Norse god.
Yeah, so you know Yuletide?
No.
Yule fuck. Yule, you know Yule, like Yule logs and Yule fires, like a Christmas thing.
Oh, yeah?
So that comes from Odin. He's known as the Yolner, meaning Yule man, and Langborer, meaning long beard. So you actually take a part of Santa Claus' origins being from the god Odin a little bit, a tiny bit. Yeah. So
that's actually not that surprising to learn.
So take Odin and mix him in, and he's mixing in with modern Santa Claus, right? Odin's role during Yuletide period has been theorized as having influenced concepts of St. Nicholas and Santa Claus in many facets, including his long gray beard, his gray horse for nightly rides compared to Sleipnir, or his reindeer in North American tradition. Just a lot of stuff kind of gets fused into Santa Claus. Oh, and also in Australia, Switzerland, Slovenia, and Germany, and a bunch of other places, they have something called the Christ Child or Christ Kind. He's also Santa, like another version of Santa. So like that gets absorbed, right?
Basically, Santa just absorbed all of these other Santas.
Yeah, imagine like America does. We absorb all these histories, all these cultures, and then eventually, because you know the English come to America, that gets brung over here, right?
Yes.
And then here's where we get it. In 1809, in Washington Irving's, he's like a writer, History of New York, right? He angelicized something called he turned Sinterklaas, like Bibleized it, I think is what it angelized it, into Santa Claus, first ever used in 1773. Now, originally Santa Claus had the bishop apparel, right? He looked like a bishop. I'm pretty sure I showed you. He looked like that. But he lost it in later interpretations. He was now first pictured as a thick-bellied Dutch sailor with a pipe and a green winter coat. So Irving made him look like that, right? That's Santa's first interpretation in America, right? It's green clothing, that belly, and a pipe, right?
Damn, Santa would be changing like all the time. I didn't think Santa would be going through all these goddamn changes.
It's the evolution of fucking folklore, dude. It's crazy. So he had a book. It was a parody of Doge culture in New York, and the whole Santa Claus thing was kind of like a joke. His interpretation of Santa was a part of a broader movement to tone down the increasingly wild Christmas celebrations. Now, let me pause here. So way back when, during that time period, Christmas wasn't let me give at least in America, it wasn't like let me give gifts to kids. It actually had a bunch of other horrible shit like aggressive home invasions under the guise of wassailing, where you like go to people's houses and like do like celebrations and stuff. People would just home invade you. Substantial premarital sex.
Okay.
What?
No, I was just saying okay.
Yeah, and public displays of sexual deviancy. So because of all this, at the time, upper class merchants and Christian purists were like, "Hey, Christmas is ass," and he kind of made this book as like a Santa Claus, blah blah, Christmas is ass type shit. So it wasn't Santa Claus was kind of originally like a joke, right? His design was kind of a joke, like pointing at Dutch people and laughing, right? Then we go to the 19th century. We go into 1821, in a book called A New Year's Present to the Little Ones from 5 to 12. It was published, right? It contained Old Santa Claus with much delight. The first poem describing Santa Claus on a reindeer sleigh bringing rewards to children. And this is Santa's next interpretation, and what many contribute to be part of his modern interpretation. The first time he is shown giving kids presents and having a reindeer with a sleigh. Now,
where the fuck did that shit come from, too?
From this book, this poem.
But yeah, but like, where did that guy get the ideal from? Like, why a sleigh? Why a reindeer?
We don't know. He's anonymous, actually. We don't know who wrote this initial poem with that little drawing.
Because, like, that feels like so far from this, like, myth. Like, okay, if we dial it back, you could probably understand where the tree thing came from because of what we just talked about. But a reindeer, and especially the sleigh, like, kind of also just feels like such a random left field. Because even
right? Because, like,
maybe.
Yeah, so that's where the sleigh comes from. The reindeer is a little weird. Like, I don't know where, like, someone comes up with the reindeer part, but
sleigh makes sense because what you just said, snow. Like, I definitely like. But then again, why did Santa became more of a December thing too? Because like, by the ideal, nothing about the story said anything about him being around like like the snow and stuff like that.
So it comes from, like I said earlier, Santa Claus is celebrated in December because that's, I believe, the day Saint Nicholas died on December 6th.
Oh,
so they celebrate on his death day in December. It doesn't move to 20. It will get to why it's now 25, but originally it was the early December, so that's where the snow part comes in.
Okay, so, but yeah, once again, like reindeer, like everything else kind of has an explanation. Like even the giving gifts thing, kind of, because that's what Saint Nick, or like what he initially did. But like the reindeer thing is just a random kind of pull. This is a random thing that kind of happened.
So this, and we're moving towards something else, right? It's a visit from Santa Claus, better known today as The Night Before Christmas, published in the New York Central on December 23rd, 1823. And there's a guy called Clement Clark Moore who said he made it, but then others have argued it's another guy called Henry Livingston Jr. But he never like outed himself. So everyone says it most likely Clement Clark Moore, but it could also be Henry Livingston Jr. We don't really know. But basically, in The Night Before Christmas, you know, the one where like it was the night before Christmas.
Yeah.
No one's straying, not even a mouse. That gave us most canon ideas of Santa Claus. That introduced the reindeer, right? Introduced the reindeer's names, right? That poem got us the reindeer, except for Rudolph, he's later, but it gave us the original 8 reindeer, right?
Yes, which are like what? Their names are like.
I'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Because like I actually am surprised people can memorize their names because I could never memorize any of their names.
So in this story, it canonizes or like helps interpret modern Santa Claus. This is like the big piece of modern Santa Claus lore. It describes St. Nicholas as being chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf with a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. In spite of which the miniature sleigh and tiny reindeer indicate that the original Santa Claus in this poem was actually small.
Yeah, it said he was an elf. It said he was an elf.
Exactly. It called him an elf, a small man. So the original modern Santa Claus was an elf, a fat elf who was jolly and somehow carried around everyone's toys and presents. Now, in this poem, it gives us the name of the reindeer. And if you could, name out the original reindeer. Let's go.
The fuck you mean? Theodore?
Okay. It was in the poem. They named him as Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Dunder, Blixen. Now, Dunder and Blixen come from like old Dutch words for thunder and lightning, but they were later changed into Donner and Blitzen, which stayed in modern era. So everyone should know this. Let me repeat it. The reindeer are Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen. Those are the 8 reindeer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, 8 reindeer, right? And that canonized them. That's his 8 reindeer, right? And in 1845, Kris Kringle, which comes from German for Christ child, like I mentioned earlier, was his other like name, was a common variant of Santa in some parts of the United States. And in an 1853 magazine, it described American Christmas customs to British readers. It refers to children hanging up their stockings on Christmas Eve as a fabulous personage whose name varies, right? In Pennsylvania, he usually was called Kris Kinkle, but in New York, he is called St. Nicholas or Santa Claus. So this is kind of like where he starts getting his different names in different parts of the country, right?
Yes.
Which later all become just his different names, right? As the years pass and each interpretation builds on each other, he evolved into a large, heavy set person. One of the first artists to define the modern image of Santa Claus was a man named Thomas Nast, a German-born, and fun fact, he's actually considered the father of the American cartoon, which I thought was hard as fuck.
What?
He was a German-born American, huh?
Like what? What do you mean?
He was what? The father of the American cartoon is kind of crazy. I'm just saying, that's pretty cool. Anyway, German-born American cartoonist of the 19th century who actually immortalized Santa with his illustration for a 3rd January 1863 issue of Harper's Weekly, in which he actually, this is so dumb. He drew Santa dressed in American flag, and he had a puppet with the name Jeff on it, reflecting like American Civil War conflict. Basically, the first fucking drawing of Santa Claus, of modern age Santa Claus, is during the American Civil War, right?
God
and
damn.
this drawing, blah blah, he had reindeer. It's a whole thing. It's a political cartoon. It doesn't really matter. The story that Santa Claus lives in the North Pole was also possibly made by Nast. His Christmas image in Harper's issue, 29 December 1866, was a collage of engravings titled Santa Claus and His Works, which include the caption Santa Clausville NP. The color collection of Nast pictures, published in 1869, also had a poem titled Santa Claus's Works, blah, blah. It's like a poem made by a guy named George Parmley Webster, who wrote that Santa Claus's home was near the North Pole in ice and snow. The tale had become well known by 1870s. And it kind of just became. So that's where the thing of Santa Claus living in the North Pole came from, George P. Webster. So that's where that piece of Santa Claus lore comes from. The idea of Santa having a wife comes from American authors beginning in the mid-19th century. In 1889, the poet Catherine Lee Bates popularized Mrs. Claus in the poem Goody Santa Claus on a Sleigh Ride. It goes, that's where it came from, Mrs. Santa Claus.
What does she serve?
Santa Claus, huh?
What does she serve? Like Mrs. Claus? Other than just being his wife? That's
His wife.
She doesn't do shit? No, I do this one feature for Santa for Christmas, or like nothing. I'm just kind of, his chick.
I have a list of like sidekicks. I might have put the information on there, but off the top of my head, I don't remember doing anything aside from being his wife, who's helps him out and stuff. And like I think a Verizon like phone commercial made her like a girl boss or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean
But Miss
that's
Santa Claus
Verizon,
doesn't really.
so
Yeah, Miss Claus didn't really do a lot. But basically, yeah, this is Miss Claus. Now, when we hit the 20th century, we have a guy named L. Frank Baum who made the Wizard of Oz. I don't know if you heard that little book.
yeah, I know what the Wizard of Oz is.
He wrote The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus, a children's book. So because Santa Claus is like major, like his stuff was in bits and pieces, and because no one consolidated it yet, he gave a kind of a different interpretation. He like made Santa Claus called he gave him the name Neclaus, Nestle's little one. He gave 10 reindeer who couldn't fly, but actually jumped in flight like bounds. We don't use that interpretation because 10 is wrong, and they fly, and everyone knows this. Apparently, Santa Claus got immortality by other people. Other immortal people gave him immortality, according to this book, which is weird.
Okay, other immortals.
Santa Claus also appears in the Road to Oz. Yeah, he puts Santa in his like cinematic universe and stuff. So it's a whole thing. I'm just
So
gonna
in
skip
the
over.
Wizard
Just
of
say
Oz,
it.
Santa Claus is canonically canon.
Yes.
But I thought in the Wizard of Oz it was all a dream.
No, the Land of Oz is real.
So how does what's her name? I forgot her name.
Dorothy?
Dorothy. How does Dorothy even get there then? If she what? I guess she
Don't
got
look
there
at
because
me.
of it. Yeah, that's a different topic. Because the wizard, I
That's
always thought Wizard of Oz was like a dream like state scenario thing where she just like
no,
because of a tornado she
no.
like passes out and then she's like on this magical
Dude, he has
yellow brick road.
multiple books. She goes back to Oz, dog.
What?
Oh my god, you don't know she goes back to Oz?
I thought it was just a one-time story. How come we haven't?
No, she goes back to Oz.
Why did she go back? Wait, sorry to get sidetracked here, but why did she go back to Oz? The fuck business that she got there?
Uh,
Cowardly Lion, I'm building a team.
Uh, so there's actually 5 different books where she goes to Oz, but that's its own thing. She goes there like 6 times, dog.
Why haven't we gotten movies on those?
Oh, you did. We got a second movie of the second book, Return to Oz.
Do we actually have a movie for?
Yes, there is a second movie where she goes back to Oz. It was not good, but yeah, no, I think in the second movie, if I remember correctly, they called her. They put her in an asylum because she kept saying she went to Oz, and then eventually she just goes back to Oz because another tornado happens, and she goes back to Oz, and it's a whole thing. I'm not an Oz enthusiast, but
this is definitely.
No, she goes back to Oz. You can look it up and everything. Yeah.
I'm Googling it right now. How dark is Return to Oz? Too dark and intense for young children.
Yeah.
The Land of Oz.
The original book was dark as shit, dude. And the rest of the books like do everyone's origins and stuff, like how the Tin Man did his Tin Man stuff and stories and shit. Yeah.
That's insane. I did not know that the Wizard of Oz had sequels. I thought it was like just one of those like one-shot stories. That's crazy.
Bro made a franchise off that shit, dog.
Brother thought he was Stephen King trying to like do all this like it stuff.
Dude, he has lore. There's like more countries and shit in that book than just like the Emerald City and shit. There's like a bunch of stuff there.
Actually a sleeper universe nobody ever goes to.
Yeah, but
we might have to. We might make that something else later. We might talk about that in the future. I feel like I don't know.
Please don't make me do a Wizard of Oz episode. I don't like it. They have to talk about Wicked, dog.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot. What's Wicked about? That's just about the Wicked Witch.
That's a fanfic.
It's a fanfic. Okay, well,
yes, it's actually based off a play, which is based off a book, and the book was a fanfic.
Are you dead ass?
I'm so dead ass. Yes, it was made in 1990 something.
Why are we making movies on fan fictions now?
Don't look at me, dog.
Okay, anyways, let's dial it back to Santa.
Go back to Santa. So now we get to like the more modern where he wears like his red coat for lining, right?
Yeah.
And that version of him began more popular during Hayden Sabloom's depiction of him for the Coca-Cola Company's advertising in the 1930s, which spawned like the urban legends that Santa Claus was created by the Coca-Cola Company, or that Santa Claus wears red and white because they were colors used by Coke to promote their brand. But people forget that Pepsi also used Santa Claus in its advertisements in the 1940s and 50s, and Coca-Cola isn't even the first company to use Santa Claus's modern version in its advertising, with another company called White Rock Beverages actually using Santa Claus in its advertisements for mineral water in the 1915s, in 1915. And in 1923 or 1925, the same company used the same colors, red and white, for Santa Claus in their ads for drink mixers. And even earlier, Santa Claus appeared dressed in red and white for his several versions of a cover of Puck, which is like it's like Mad. You know what Mad is? That it was like old Mad.
Oh.
It was Puck.
Oh.
So
Yeah, I know what
yeah,
Mad is. At first, I was
yeah.
like, "What are you
So
talking about?" And then I'm like, "Oh, the fucking weird
yeah, so
parody thing."
Santa's like red and white clothing and all that modern depiction began before Coke, but Coke made it popular, and everyone like looks at Coke like Coke made Santa, but like Coke didn't make Santa. Santa made Coke,
I
you know.
kind of,
But
I kind of neglected the fact that yeah, Coca-Cola very has like a lot of Christmas like related ads during the time.
because it helped them, Santa Claus's branding helped Coca-Cola become what it is today.
And now look, Coca-Cola is using AI for their Christmas ads.
Don't remind me, I forgot about that. Don't fucking McDonald's uses that shit too.
McDonald's is using AI ads.
Yeah, they did. They're under fire for it. Yeah, they used it in a new ad recently.
Oh, you have to show me that because I did not know McDonald's. I just know Coca-Cola, and I'm just thinking like, can you imagine like the biggest smiles they gave me? Like, oh yeah, everyone's gonna love this, and then see the immediately backlash, and their smiles turn to frowns.
I don't know why everyone's using AI, dog. Just pay artists, please, or fucking pay someone. Just don't use AI.
Or just
Again,
become
it's cheap. I
talented
can just write a
yourself.
prompt. I don't know. Fuck me, I guess. But yeah, that's Santa. It helped like make him popular. Now, the image of Santa as a benevolent character became reinforced with his association with charity and philanthropy, particularly because of Salvation Army. Everyone knows Salvation Army dresses up as Santa Claus, and that kind of associates Santa Claus with helping people during Christmas time, right? So they kind of come hand in hand.
I did not know that.
You don't know Santa Claus? People at Salvation Army dress up as Santa Claus?
No, because I don't go to Salvation Army. Think I leave my place to go to a Salvation Army? I'm not even saying that like I'm not even saying that as like a belittlement thing of like helping or anything.
Yeah,
I just don't go there.
No, but it's like in movies and stuff.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't recall.
Like people like a Salvation Army, and there's like someone as Santa. It doesn't matter.
I know, like the idea of someone dressing up as Santa in front of like other places, ringing a bell, being like, "Donate dollars, donate $1, please." But I never thought of it like a Salvation Army thing.
So the images of Santa Claus became more and more popular. He became more and more of a relevant entity, helping kids. In 1937, a guy named Charles W. Howard is kind of famous because he played Santa Claus in department stores and parades and established the Charles W. Howard Santa School, the oldest continuously running Santa school in the world.
Is it still going?
Oh, no, it's still going, yeah.
God damn.
I just said it's the oldest continuously. Yeah, it's the oldest Santa school in the world.
What is it? Where they teach there?
You know how to be Santa, like how to be like how to act like Santa, how to do this and that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, you know what? I know what that is. I seen that in The Simpsons. That's like actually in the first episode of The Simpsons. Yeah, I mean, on topic actually. I guess the first episode of The Simpsons is a Christmas episode. Like unironically. Oh, I mean, that's a whole other topic because Simpsons is kind of like one of those weird things where like if you look up like the first actual episode and like what they list is that Christmas episode, but you could definitely tell there's stuff pre-established to that, but like they're too old to find. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think they were on some sort of other show and like as little like in between segments
Yeah. So
before it
like,
became its full own show. Yeah.
yeah, it's full own thing, which is I don't even think as long as an actual episode is a Christmas episode. And Homer dresses up as Santa and goes to what you just said, like a Santa school to become Santa, and then like to raise more money, and then they just like true Americans, they go and gamble to see if they could get more money, and they lose, but they get their dog, Santa's little helper,
Yep.
which is why the dog in the show is called Santa's Little Helpers, because that's like the name of the betting dog is also on Christmas Day.
On the money. But yeah, that's Santa. Yeah, that's the Santa school, which is still around. It's kind of cool. I like that. Anyway, because of him, we get like because of Charles W. Howard, we get the mall Santas. He's basically spawned the mall Santas, right?
Great.
So he's in charge of that.
I don't see those anymore.
They're still around, just not in like every mall. You know,
I remember
there are only so many nice old white people. You know,
so yeah, that's sadly true. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Anyway, I mean a cookie. Sorry.
Yeah.
No milk, though. I'm a psychopath.
Well,
Anyway,
hopefully, me eating that cookie transitions to the idea of why we leave cookies and milk out for Santa.
I'll get there. So in some images in the early 20th century, Santa was depicted as a person personally making his toys by hand in a small workshop, like a craftsman. Eventually, you know, we get the idea that elves help him.
I guess that's also due to the fact that his initial depiction was him being an elf himself, and I feel like when he was slowly developing into no longer being an elf, the ideal of an elf, like stuff in general, was still lingering. So that's where the elves come from. I made that as a guess, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's yeah. Which is actually pretty neat. I did not know that. Is there any like unique elves?
Let me pause. Want me to answer? No, actually, there's no unique elves like named.
That's upsetting.
Like named elves? Yeah, they only come from like movies and stuff. To answer your cookie thing, it just comes from an old thing where we leave wreaths out for Saint Nicholas, and Santa Claus and stuff. They leave out food and stuff for Santa Claus or his horse and stuff. Santa Claus had a horse, right? So they leave stuff out for him and his horse, and eventually evolved into milk and cookies. I don't know at what point it did, but eventually it just did.
I feel like if I was a dad and like obviously my kids are like, let's leave out something for Santa. I'm like, why don't we put out some milk and cookies? Like I'm hungry, but not that hungry for the middle of the night. And then every other dad around the block was like, oh, you know what? I would like a snack.
Motherfucker.
Could you imagine like if they left out like a full steak and you come in like just to drop gifts under the tree and you're like, fuck, I gotta eat the steak now. It's like I'm just saying, milk and cookies just sound like a nice gateway.
We're keeping Santa fat, is what I'm hearing. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, so you know earlier I said like the idea of him having a wife was spawned way back when. So she didn't actually have a name yet.
Oh, well, so nobody even called her Mrs. Claus? It was just Santa Claus's wife?
Yeah, it was then popularized in 1956 by George Malacrino, who made Mrs. Santa Claus. And the 1963 book, How Mr. Santa Claus Saved Christmas by Phyllis McGinley, helped standardize the role and establish the character of Mrs. Claus. And then we get to the good stuff.
No, right. Like all the other, because like out of every holiday, Christmas has so much stuff to it. You don't realize.
It does. So much came into making the modern version of Santa. It's fucking insane. And a book called Roads, it like draws from historical legends to tell the story of Santa Claus and origins of Christmas. It's like another thing that kind of helped. I have a lot of notes on it. Other additions to the story of Santa Claus include, I think, like one of the important ones is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. The ninth and lead reindeer was created in 1939 by Robert L. May, a Montgomery Ward copywriter, and immortalized in 1949 by a song by Gene Autry, who made, of course, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, immortalizing him as the official member. Which, mind you, he wasn't an official reindeer for 100 years.
Damn, Rudolph was just a myth.
He is now. So I like to imagine they in fact didn't have Rudolph for 100 years, and then 100 years they had that. They were completely fine.
So obviously reindeers are like mythical beings. So Rudolph was born that day, and he just matured around in 100 years to finally be a member.
Insane. They never had a foggy night until he was born.
Hey, yeah, no, it was all clear skies. That's just pollution for you. Let's just turn this into global
don't
warming.
Say that. Don't say that, please. So let's talk about in pop culture. Elves have been portrayed as using assembly lines to produce toys early in the 20th century. The shift was reflected in the modern depiction of Santa's residence, now humorously portrayed as a fully mechanized production and distribution facility equipped with the latest manufacturing technology, overseen by elves with Santa and Mrs. Claus as executives or managers. Because, as time goes on, kids want different things, Not everyone wants dolls. Some people want Xbox and PlayStations and stuff, so...
Yeah, and bicycles
the elves have to
and
modernize.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The elves have to modernize, so... Now, the first actor to ever play Santa Claus was a man named Leadham Bantock, who played Santa Claus in the film Santa Claus in 1912, which is a silent film, which he also directed. Crazy. It's where like a girl gets she dreams of going to Toyland, which North Pole, but not, where he helps Santa in his workshop and stuff.
Interesting.
Since then, we've had different movies with Santa Claus, Miracle on 34th Street, The Santa Claus, and of course, in my opinion, one of the greatest Christmas movies ever made, Elf.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Elf. For completely, I was thinking of the Santa Claus movie with Adam Sandler, I think, right? Is it Adam Sandler? Is it? No, it's not Adam Sandler. I keep thinking it's Adam Sandler. It's what's his name? The guy who voices
Tim Allen?
Tim Allen.
Yeah, the Santa Claus.
Yeah, I keep thinking of those three movies. Did you know that was a show? Did you know they made a show too?
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
I didn't know it existed.
I'm good with just the movies.
I only learned about it this year that it had a show and it's about his son. That shit's wild. I did not know they had a show. I think they only had 2 seasons or 1 season, and then they planned a 2nd season. Why do we need a show for Santa Claus?
I don't give a fuck about the Santa Claus. Ugh.
What? You don't like the Santa Claus movies?
No.
I like the first one because Santa dies. The other 2 are kind of forgettable.
That's fucked up.
But it's true. You know it's funny though. He's like, "What are you doing up there?" He falls off the roof and he deflates in his yard. He deflates. Unironically deflates. And then he's like, "Oh."
Okay. So in 2011, Santa was once called a positive male icon by a man named Jonathan Meath. Now, Jonathan Meath is a weird guy.
Did you emoted wrong?
So he is a American producer. He was a producer of such shows as Where is Carmen Sandiego, if you know that one. The Wobulous World of Dr. Seuss, Zoom. And he was known as being a professional Santa Claus. He's still, in fact, a professional Santa Claus, which is fucking insane, by the way.
That's pretty impressive. You could be a professional Santa Claus, honestly.
He was called Top Santa by Time Magazine and National Public Radio, which is insane, right? So he once in 2011 kind of went up and was talking to people and was like, guys, I think Santa is a positive male icon, possibly one of the greatest. Santa is really the only cultural icon we have who's male, does not carry a gun, and is all about peace, joy, giving, and caring for other people. That's part of the magic for me, especially in a culture where we've become so commercialized and hooked into manufactured icons. Santa is much more organic, integral, and connected to the past, and therefore connected to the future.
All right, well, let's prove him fucking wrong by bringing up the blackface companion he had in the fucking
So
18th century.
let's ignore that, and we just look at modern Santa. Jesus.
Yeah, it's like nobody's free of sin, dog. Why won't we bring up the receipts?
Technically, that was the Dutch. That's Sinterklaas. You know, that's the Dutch Santa Claus. He doesn't count. Please.
Okay, sure. We could play favorites.
Please. Anyway, he was in a bunch of stuff. Like he was in okay. This one's crazy, and I just got to say this. I just got to get this out there because when I read this shit was hilarious. So in 1938, there was a radio play. You know, radio plays like they're like
I know
plays, but like on the radio. Yeah.
That's where like. Yeah. Anyways, go on.
So, set entirely in rhyme, there was a radio play with Santa in it called The Plot to Overthrow Christmas. And hang with me now, this shit gets weird. Details the conspiracy of the devil Mephistopheles and the damned figures of history to defeat the goodwill among men on Christmas by sending Roman Emperor Nero to North Pole to assassinate Santa Claus. Through a bout of wit, Santa Claus saves himself by winning Nero over using the joys of Christmas and giving him a violin. That's it.
Wait, he gives the violin to who?
Roman Emperor Nero, considered one of the most evil fucking people on the planet.
Oh.
You don't know Nero? One time he castrated a guy because he wanted a femboy wife or something because the guy looked like his wife. Yeah, it's a whole thing. This guy's Nero's wife died, and he found like a twink, and he was like, "Man, you look like my wife. I'm gonna castrate you," and he did that. So it was super fucked up, quite honestly. That guy's an ass, and everyone hates him for good reason. So in this story, Santa Claus makes him a good person by giving him a violin.
Okay.
Anyway, because the devil sent him to go kill Santa Claus. It's a weird thing. Honestly, look at the plot to overthrow Christmas. It's wild. And of course, he just keeps coming. He keeps doing stuff. He's in a bunch of like comics. Of course, everyone like a modern interpretation of Santa's elves is like them being like a disgruntled workforce, pulling pranks, cracking jokes. Like once in a while, there's always someone's interpretation of like Santa's elves going on strikes, and he has to like fucking do shit with them. You know, there's even like a Guinness World Record of the largest gathering of Santa Clauses. Jesus fucking Christ!
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, so the Guinness World Record is held by who the fuck is this? A country city called Thrissur in India, where on 27 December 2014, 18,112 Santas were around. So they're dressed up as Santas, which is insane to me, by the way. 18,000 Santas.
Altogether, that's like a city.
18,000 people dressed up. That's a city's worth of Santas just in India chilling.
Ho 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 ho!
I don't like that. They're not Pokemon. They don't just say ho
ho. Come on, they kind of do though. Have you ever seen a Santa Claus?
And in Brazil, the version of Santa with green clothes became popular because of like commercials for this thing called Dolly, which is like a soda.
He's like, yeah, Brazil, I got my green coat in the closet just for you guys.
I mean, it's some interpretation. Like I said, the earliest one in America had him in green, so green is a part of him. It's just more popular in red. So Brazil has him in green, but because it's a form of patriotism, like Brazil's colors are green and yellow, and so that. So are you ready for their traditions and rituals?
Yeah.
Everyone knows Santa enters through a chimney. If your house doesn't have a chimney, as shown in the Santa Claus with Tim Allen, he makes one.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was part of the lore. He makes a chimney. He
He
gets
makes
like
a
he
chimney.
gets sucked up in a tiny little like pipe, and then it just becomes a chimney at the other end.
Exactly.
I
Exactly. Santa can make
forgot.
chimneys.
I
Uh,
forgot about all that.
um, yep. So everyone knows he comes on the eve of Christmas for Americans at least. Um, but in different countries, Saint Nicholas comes on 5th of December into the 6th. Christmas Eve, it just depends. Some people have them on the 5th. Some people have them on the 24th. It just depends. Um, Santa Claus is cool. As everyone knows, his modern depiction is generally depicted as a portly, jolly, white bearded man. Sometimes he has glasses. You don't see that a lot. Like once in a while, he has like little glasses. I kind of like him. I kind of like Santa Claus with glasses. That's just me though.
I
Wearing a red
it
outfit.
fits. It fits with his fit.
I like his fit. Wearing a red outfit consists of jacket, trousers, and hat, all trimmed with white fur, usually with a black leather belt and boots, and of course carrying,
A
gifts.
sack, yeah, a sack of gifts behind his back or something.
Now, of course, Santa Claus usually portrayed as white, but he is depicted as different skin colors depending on where you're at, which is also a subject of controversy. But I don't particularly care. I think, and this is just me personally, Santa Claus just looks like whatever you think Santa Claus looks like, and
I
that's just how
second
I
that.
interpret it.
I second that opinion because I think Santa Claus should be what you think Santa Claus is, rather than it should be a like a factual thing. I feel like Santa Claus is, since he's not only a mythos thing, he should be up to what you believe Santa Claus looks like.
I'm happy we agree on that statement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the ho 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 comes from Santa.
Well, yeah, no shit. Do you think Santa Claus is walking down the street one day and somebody's like, ho, 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 and he's like, hold on,
Now
wait a minute.
here's the
That
so
sounds
it
good.
comes. It is a so the reason why he says ho 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 is because the original versions of modern Santa had him in text, right? Because it was in books and stuff. So a ho 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 is supposed to be like a sound effect. It is a like a text version of like a deep throated laugh or chuckle. So like it should be like it would be a deep laugh is what ho 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 is supposed to be, but everyone kind of takes it as like that is the sound he's making, you know? Like if like someone punches someone in a comic, it's like thwack. That's like what the sound effect for laughing, the laugh he had, the type of laugh he has was. But we all kind of take it like as it says on the can, and we all say he just says ho 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 instead of laughing deeply. Um, ho ho ho.
Ho, ho,
But I don't
ho.
know. Everyone knows Santa lives in North Pole. And according to Canada, Santa Claus lives in Canada's jurisdiction under the postal code H0H space 0H0. I wonder why. On the 23rd December 2008, Jason Kenney, the Minister of Immigration and Multiculturalism, actually awarded Santa Claus Canadian citizenship,
Oh, that's nice.
which is insane. There's also a city in Alaska called the North Pole. The U.S. Postal Service recommends sending Santa's mail to 123 Elf Road, North Pole 88888888. Royal Mail, which I think is British, yep, recommends sending letters to Father Christmas or Santa to Santa's Grotto, Reindeer Land, XM4 5HQ. Which means, and this is just me, dog. This is just me. He doesn't just live in North Pole. He has multiple locations. Do you think a manufacturing business as Santa has only one location? I think he has multiple locations.
I think there's
I'm
multiple
just
Santa
saying.
Clauses.
Okay, well that might be true, but okay, you might be right. You might be right. So Nordic countries, so like Finland, Denmark, Iceland, claim that Santa Claus actually lives in their territory. Norway claims he lives in Drobak, which is in Norway. In Denmark, they say he lives near Greenland. In Sweden, they say they have a town called Mora, which has a theme park called Santa World. The National Postal Terminal in Tobetam in Stockholm receives letters for Santa. In Finland, they have a place called Lapland, which is known as Santa's home, and it has two theme parks: Santa Claus Village and Santa Park near Rovaniemi. In Belarus, he has Den Moriz, which is home to like Slavic Santa Claus and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, he just has a lot of place where he's said to live. There's also a place in Jerusalem called St. Peter Street where he has a house as well, which is fucking insane. Yeah, no, Santa just has a lot of places where he lives. There's a bunch of places that track Santa Claus, such as NORAD tracks Santa Claus, which is like a North American Aerospace Defense Command, which is owned by, I think, both the US and Canada. They track Santa. Google tracks Santa. EmailSanta.com tracks Santa. Just everyone tracks fucking Santa Claus. NASA used to track Santa Claus, but they stopped doing that.
They stopped doing that because they're like, wait, we actually need to use our funds that we rarely get.
Yeah, so NORAD, I think, is the most popular one currently. Started in 1955 and stuff.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna break. I'm not here to break everyone's illusion. Yeah, he's not fucking real. What are we tracking? The fucking
What?
Nothing.
What do you mean?
Like, what you saying? There's like,
Santa's real. What do you want about?
okay, well, maybe I just haven't been jolly this year.
Maybe you aren't. I hope you get hit by a fucking piece of coal, you ass. Anyway,
Where'd that also come from?
I don't know. I think it started. I don't want to say it started with Black Pete. I really don't.
Yeah, that'd be fucked up if that's the reason why.
I didn't write that down actually. Where did the coal come from? Saint Nicholas would leave coal or switches and potatoes for naughty kids instead of treat, symbolizing the fuel needed warmth, but also a reminder for better behavior. Huh.
And speaking of like earlier, man, like
he just started doing that. That's crazy.
He's just a dick then.
It comes from Santa Claus, I think.
And like speaking of earlier, damn, kids are either smarter than me or I'm just an idiot. Because every time I made a letter to Santa, I didn't actually go to the post office and be like, all right, I want this delivered. I gave that to my dad. I followed my dad into the postal service and he just put it in the mailbox, like where you would receive mail. He's like, all right, so I don't get it. But in reality, my dad just left it there and came back later to grab it himself just to see what I wrote. Like, I didn't deliver shit.
Insane. Actually insane.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's smart. I didn't give it to any mailman, though.
Now, of course, everyone, like, Santa Claus doesn't have people hate Santa, okay? I'm just going to say it. Some people don't like Santa, particularly, like, some Christian dominations, because they feel like Santa takes away from Christmas being, like, the birth of, Jesus and stuff.
Oh yeah, it is the birth, huh? And like Easter is like the death or the resurrection.
Yeah, the death / I think it's resurrection because Sunday. Yeah. So people are like, hey, Santa shouldn't be this or that, but unfortunately, Santa is. He is innocence. He is this, that. Which people are also against. Like, why the fuck do we have Santa? Jesus, blah blah. But for non-religious people, because like Santa's popular. It just is popular. Then other people are like, under communism, they say no Christmas. Let me just put that there. Like the Soviet Union said no to Christmas.
Why?
Because state atheism, and they think Christmas is inherently Christian, so they banned Christmas, which banned Santa Claus.
Damn, Santa Claus got banned in Russia, dog.
Yep. And of course, people say that Santa is a symbol of commercialism, which he is. I'm just going to say he kind of is, yeah.
Although, to be fair, I don't watch much commercials nowadays, but like I don't really see him around as much other than Coca-Cola.
Yeah, because they don't. In the state of Ohio, they actually put a law that says you can't use Santa to sell alcohol, apparently, which I thought was funny. It's just kind of frowned upon, I think, like nowadays. You don't want to use Santa, you know? Aside from like M&M commercials, and you don't really use Santa to use him in a funny way. You know, you don't like just straight up use Santa. You know, you kind of try having charm with it, you know? People use Santa all the time, but not like, I don't know how to explain it in a good way. They usually use Santa in a good way, comedic way, not like a
Don't use
straight up
Santa to
Santa.
promote the brand, but you have Santa to be there right along the brand or something.
Yeah, I feel like that's how most people do use it. Aside from like car people, sometimes some people just make Santa have their car, which I think is fucking stupid. And of course, psychologists don't like Santa because you okay let's say Santa isn't real, right? You're technically straight up lying to your kids during their formative years, and psychologists said that's bad. But I said fuck you because Santa's good for kids. It promotes wonder and shit.
Not just that, not only it promotes wonder, but then like let's add more to that. It also adds the idea that like you don't want your kid knowing that you're the one giving them gifts because then they will give you sass about like, hey, why didn't you give this to me? Or why didn't I get this? But if you have this ideal that this guy who knows when you're like happy or who knows when you're bad and knows of this and that, so you better be good. It promotes them not only to behave, but also like that wonder, as you said. And they also don't excuse like when they don't get something. Like you could immediately be like, "Oh, Santa didn't get it this year, but maybe next year." So the kid's not immediately like pissed off or like, "Oh, why didn't I get this?" It's just the idea like, "Oh, he just Santa's doing all this other work. He got you something else you like, just not what you exactly would want." Rather than the kid being like, "Dad, why didn't you give this to me?" It's like it promote,
Yeah, it's
yeah, stupid.
I don't know. I like wonder. So because some people did like tests or like studies and stuff, and they're like, yeah, so kids usually because babies and toddlers cannot concept a character, right? Because they can't concept anything they can't see, right? So usually around 3 or 4, when children become like aware, they start to believe, quote unquote, in Santa at like 3 or 4. It keeps going through age 5, of course, and usually stops at like no more than like 10, I think, is when kids believe in Santa, like full heartedly believe in Santa. No, usually it doesn't pass 10. Um, in 1978, 85% of American 5-year-olds believed Santa was real. Um, but only 25% of 8-year-olds did, which is slightly lowering each year because,
The internet,
kids aren't stupid,
that too.
right? Okay, yeah, the internet, kids aren't stupid. And once one kid knows, or
Every
like
kid
their parent,
knows.
and if, okay, everyone does, but we like Santa, so shut the fuck up.
No, it's just saying if one kid knows, then that
Oh yeah, everyone
spreads.
knows. Yeah,
Everyone
it
knows.
puts
Yeah,
the seed in, and then the kids actually start seeing like, huh, you know, how the fuck does he get in my house? Huh? You
and
know,
and they tell the other kids around the block like, yeah, I don't think he's real, and they're like, what? And then they start thinking it's basically propaganda sent by the masses by communism. I'm just kidding. Just gone on a weird tangent.
anyway, yeah, but like some psychologists are like, that's bad because you're teaching kids lying and you're making them believe in this or that. But others are like, actually, it's pretty good. Like it gives them wonder. And then eventually, when they find out, they feel a little bit older. They feel like they know a secret, basically. I mean, if they're not a little shit, they won't tell their friends. But they feel a bit more adult. They
That you
feel
know what?
better.
That's solid. That actually is because I didn't think about that, but yeah, that it does have that weird like coming of age where once you figure that
Yeah, we were
out, you
like,
feel like
oh,
a more
okay,
older and mature. I did not really
yeah,
visualize it like that, but yeah, I feel like at the moment where I felt realized I was like, damn, I'm getting old, and I felt sad and hated myself even more.
crazy. But of course, Santa has different versions of himself. In Iran, he's known as Ama Nowruz, which is Uncle New Year. In Turkey, he's known as Ayaz Ata,
You,
the
you
winter
think
god.
you
What the
think in
fuck?
Turkey he'll be like the absolute Santa since that's where he actually was, that's where he originated
From?
from.
Yeah, you think.
You think that would be like
Uh,
where the shining icon of where he's from should be the actual
uh,
Santa Claus?
in Italian folklore, there's Befana, which is actually a witch who gives kids gifts on January 5th.
Maybe that's Mrs. Claus.
And there's Christ Kind in Central Europe. There's Dead Moroz, which is a Russian equivalent. There is Father Christmas, of course. There is a Finnish one with his Joulupuki, which means Christmas goat or Yule goat. Jesus. In Romania, there is Mazgirila, which is apparently from Romanian communist propaganda. Jesus. There's Nicolas. In where are you? Central Europe and Benelux. In Olet's Zero, there's in Basque, there's Olet's Zero, which has recently been transformed into more a Santa guy. Saint Basil, who is another saint who's known for giving gifts to kids. And of course, for Spanish, there is the three three biblical wise men who gave gifts to Jesus. In Spain, they give gifts to kids on January 6th.
What, the three wise men? Or are they fused into one person?
No, the three kings or three wise men or three magi. The three kings is what they're called when they're giving gifts on like January 6th for Spain. And for some Spanish cultures, I'm Puerto Rican and we celebrate that, three kings. The idea is the three kings from the Bible who gave Jesus his gifts when he was born would come to your house and give you presents.
So, like, the three wise men who gave gifts to Jesus are now coming around giving every baby to gifts. They're like, hey, maybe you could be the next Jesus.
No, it's every kid. Every kid every year on January 6th.
Man, the three wise men were like, very happy, I guess, for every child.
Yeah.
They did it to Jesus, and they're like, that was a good feeling. Did you guys feel that good feeling too? I like doing that. It's like, we could do this every year for every kid.
Yeah, I would get like 3 presents on January 6th, from each one, and you have to leave out like grass for their camels or horses. Camels they had.
See, I didn't celebrate that because I'm a filthy white American.
Crazy. I would have like a shoebox. I put grass in it, and I come back and it's eaten, and I got 3 presents under my bed. Oh my God, look at that. That's crazy,
Yeah, I mean.
Anyway, there's also a Tex-Mex version of Santa Claus called Pancho Claus. He's like Mexican and he's in Texas. He came out of the Hispanic civil rights movement in the 1970s, and he became Pancho Claus, which is like Mexican Santa Claus. He's actually kind of drippy. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I don't doubt that because that is interesting though. You never would have expected that. I'm surprised. I'm not gonna say that.
Oh, what are you gonna say?
I was kidding. I'm surprised I haven't heard Alex talk about it.
It's from Mexico, dog. it's just an old Mexican guy, either in that suit or like.
He's just like a guy in a red suit.
What do you mean, dog? That's Pancho Claus. He either looks like that or he looks like this. Take your pick.
I think I prefer the red suit. The second image is a guy in a poncho, but that's a long poncho because it drapes with like a sombrero that's all red and blue. He's like his poncho is like an ugly sweater. Is that a black beard for some reason from afar that looked like a face mask? That is a black beard, huh?
It is, yes.
I don't know. The guy that I actually might prefer the one that I would consider more racist. Because like the poncho, the poncho and hat, they look pretty fucking baller. Actually, I can't lie. The guy in the red suit just
at the bottom.
I do see the third image you said. That one's like giving more. I don't know. I prefer the other one you sent.
The middle one?
Yeah, the middle one. That one I prefer more. That's funnier to me. The one at the very top looks like a Spy Kids villain.
You
know what I'm talking about?
Oh my fucking God, yeah, I do.
Jesus like he has some drip, but he looks like a Spy Kids villain. I can't see him as a Santa Claus.
Okay, well, so we're gonna talk about the companions of Santa Claus to kind of close this out. Do you want to talk about the Mrs. Claus first, or you want to talk about like the other ones from different, like Black Pete-esque ones?
I feel like we should just talk about the ones that everyone should know. Because what
Okay,
made me
let's
think
talk
in my head,
about.
we got Mrs. Claus, we got
Yep.
Frosty the Snowman, which I don't know if that was like ambiguous to me.
That one's I won't count him.
You
Not
don't
me
count
though.
him? What? Why? Why?
No, because he's not a Santa Claus companion. He's definitely a Christmas character, but he's not a Santa Claus companion.
I guess as a side tangent, that does add another feature that we have a lot of weird like Christmas caricatures rather than them not even being related to Santa. They're just caricatures for Christmas. It's like the only holiday I could think of that has that. Like Halloween, that one's like a bit more of a mystery because Halloween doesn't really have a main subject. It's just what it is, and then there's
Yeah.
themes. So like you can't really say anything is like a Halloween like pumpkin like the headless horseman or something.
Jack Skellington.
Jack Skellington. But that's like, other than that, like what else? I mean, Headless Horseman, that's more of like folklore. That's not really
Mm,
Like
mm.
Halloween theme. You know what I mean? But like Christmas,
Yeah,
they have
yeah.
so many
Michael
Christmas
Myers.
stuff. Yeah, but then again, that's just a horror movie.
Mm,
That
yes.
that is a horror movie. So like it's hard to say Halloween has like really like a Christmas. Halloween doesn't have a Santa is what I'm trying to say. And it
Yeah, yeah.
has a lot of these weird additions. And Christmas has a lot of weird additions to Santa. We have Frosty the Snowman, the Scrooge with like the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future. But anyways, yeah, we have Mrs. Claus, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, not a companion, but Krampus.
Oh yeah, I have him listed here as a companion.
Well, what did he do?
Okay, we're gonna move down the list. Let's start with Mrs. Claus, right?
Yeah.
So Mrs. Claus, also known as Mrs. Santa Claus, Mrs. Santa, Mother Christmas, Mrs. Christmas, or Mary Claus, is the wife of Santa. Originally depicted in a story called The Christmas Legend in 1849 by James Ress. In this story, an old man and woman, both carrying bundles on their back, are given shelter in a home on Christmas Eve as weary travelers. Next morning, the children of the house find an abundance of gifts from them, and the couple is revealed not to be old Santa Claus and his wife, but the host's long lost elder daughter and her husband in disguise. So this is the first time it's ever thought of Santa like having a wife, and it's not really like Santa and a wife, like people they thought were Santa, but it's not. Anyway, it's the first time it's ever mentioned that Santa might have a wife was in this like interpretation, right? But she is mentioned by name in the pages of something called the Yale Literary Magazine in 1851, where the author, whose name is only listed as AB, writes the appearance of Santa Claus at a Christmas party. In Bounded that jolly, fat, and funny old self, Santa Claus. His array was indescribably fantastic. He seemed to have done his best, and we should think had Mrs. Claus to help him. So that's the first time it was ever, in 1851, was ever listed of him having a wife and named as Mrs. Santa Claus. Then in a musical in New York in 1854, it included a appearance by Mrs. Santa Claus with a baby in arms who danced to a holiday song. In Harper's Magazine in 1862, there was reference where she appears in a woman's dream wearing Hessian high boots, a dozen short red petticoats, an old straw bonnet, and bringing the woman a wide selection of finery to wear. She was also in something called Lil in Santa Claus Land and other stories where she kind of like sees an old lady, but she's not called like Mrs. Santa Claus, but she's like in Santa Claus's house. It's a whole thing. But as we hit the 20th century, you kind of get more tellings of Mrs. Santa Claus, especially when a song is released in 1953 called Mrs. Santa Claus, which kind of like boosts the Santa Clausness. And then in television, Shirley Booth, who's famous, and I don't know what she's famous for, but I remember her name. She was in a stop action animated film called The Year Without Santa Claus, which boosts Mrs. Santa Claus. She was also the protagonist in a movie called Mrs. Santa Claus in a 1996 TV movie, which kind of cemented Mrs. Santa Claus as a character in like the lore.
The lore.
And for like in the lore, the good lore. I like Mrs. Santa Claus. I think she's nice. And 21st century, of course, it was Boost Mobile. I was correct. I was incorrect. It wasn't Verizon. It was Boost Mobile. They created some controversy in 2009 by adding Mrs. Santa Claus in it. In another one, I can't remember. All I had was that. I'll actually open up the thing I grabbed it from. I couldn't find it.
Oh, you could. Okay, well,
No, I did find it. Here we go. So, according to this article I found from, I had to use a Wayback Machine to find this. But basically, in an ad in Boost Mobile, Mrs. Claus,
go
oh
on.
wow, in it, I can't find the video. Oh no.
Oh no, your research got destroyed.
Yeah. Well, that's a shame. There's that, and another company, Marks and Spencer, which I think is a retailer that sells clothing and stuff, received positive attention in their 2016 marketing campaign based on a modern feminist interpretation of Mrs. Claus. In 2018, there was increased demand for holiday appearances of Mrs. Claus as a standalone character, which I think is based off of like some parade like stuff, like people want to see more like Mrs. Claus and stuff. And in 2023 was the first time she was interpreted as a black woman during 2023's Macy's Thanksgiving Parade.
That's cool. That's cool.
And Santa Claus has a daughter. I put this here as a little footnote.
I was gonna ask if he had any offspring, but didn't expect the daughter. That caught me off guard.
So earlier how I said Mrs. Claus is depicted as having kid in her arms and whatnot?
That was the daughter?
I guess. Not really. So the idea of Santa having a daughter comes from a play in 1892 called, you guessed it, Santa Claus's Daughter. In it, a young Kitty Claus, who has known no one but her papa, asks him to help her find a man. It's dumb. That's all I had on it. I wasn't looking through the entire thing. It was dumb. In another book, in his book called Noel, Ed McCrae told the story of Claus's daughter, Noelle. In the James Patterson, who's known for writing a bunch of books that I can't name off the top of my head, wrote a book in 2004 for young audiences about Santa Claus's daughter, Chrissy. Chrissy spends her days playing with reindeer and elves until one day when the big boss of Xmas Express Company arrives and declares everything is for sale, including Christmas. Basically, she helps the elves get out of Amazon slavery and shit. I don't know. Basically, for whatever reason, whenever we come up with Santa Claus having a kid, it's a woman or a girl for a daughter, basically.
Not in the Santa Claus TV show on Disney Plus.
That is the only one that I could think of where
it's a guy
it had that interpretation, and that's only because because Tim Allen wasn't even the original Santa, so I'm not even counting that one.
Yeah, I actually don't know really. I
won't count that one. But there's a lot of interpretations of Santa having a daughter. In 2001, there was something called Once Upon a Christmas, which had a daughter of Santa. In 2006, there was a movie called Santa Baby, which is a woman playing Mary Claus, the daughter of Santa. And Anna Claus is coming to town. You can guess it. Anna Claus comes to town and is Santa's daughter.
Does she
Becoming Santa
follow her dad's legacy?
No, in Anna Claus is coming to town. She actually moves to California to try starting her career and finding a husband.
What? That feels like such a random ass thing to add. That could be just a normal romance movie.
Fucking make a movie. In Becoming Santa in 2015, Holly Claus brings her boyfriend home to meet the parents, which is fucking. Imagine you're dating a girl, right? And she loves Christmas, and she's like, "No, let me bring you to my dad." And she fucking does Christmassy magic, and suddenly you're in the North Pole, and her dad's there, sitting sternly across the table, "So you're the guy who won my baby's heart." And you're just like, "Is that fucking Santa Claus? Huh? What is?"
I like to think it's one of those things where the car ride's gonna be long, So you're like in the car ride, and she's like driving, and she's like, "Oh, it's gonna be like a few more hours," and you're getting sleepy. So you're like, "Okay," and you take a nap, you wake up, and you're just in the North Pole. You're like, "Damn, where are we? Like New
But
Mexico?"
why do the majority of these fucking stories have her trying to find a husband? I think that's just a weird thing that they'll do. In a Disney Plus movie called Noelle, which came out in 2019,
On
she is also Santa Claus's daughter for whatever reason. Netflix original movie called Santa Girl. Jennifer
Santa
Stone
Girl.
plays Cassie Claus, who finds herself needing to take over the role of Santa. And there's a comic. Oh yeah, I forgot. So you know how DC does stuff?
Yeah, DC and Marvel too, right? I could have sworn Marvel uses Santa.
They do. So the guy who made like the DC animated universe or like did stuff for DC animated universe made something called Jingle Bell, in which is Santa Claus's daughter who causes mischief and doesn't, like rebellious daughter. That's what she is. She has a comic or something.
Oh,
There's music, of course, Mariah Carey with fucking, you know,
oh, am I right? Oh
yeah,
yeah. Does she?
you know.
Can we technically count her as a Christmas character now? I don't think she's
Yeah, I
real.
think we
Does
can.
she even do
I don't
anything?
think.
I don't think she does anything. I think she
Dude,
literally made that.
when you make a song that's played every fucking year, I think you don't need to do anything else.
I think literally I don't even know what she's done to attribute to like our like actual life other than
She has other music. She has other music. It's just she's
like
most
what
known for
jingle bells,
fucking.
jingle bells. Like what else does she do?
Okay, hold on. Let's not go crazy here. I'll look up her discography.
And she embraces it, so it's not even like me making fun of her. She embraces the fact that she is known
She
as
has
the
a lot of
Christmas.
songs. She has When Angels Cry.
Never heard of it.
I actually don't think I've listened to any of. She has Shake It Off. Shake it off.
I
Shake
do
it
know
off.
Shake It Off. That's like the only one I do know. Well, yeah, because she's saying Shake
And
It
it's gonna
Off because
shake,
it's
shake,
time for
shake,
it to
shake,
be
shake.
Christmas time.
Shake, shake. Okay, well, fuck me. I don't know what else. Okay, I don't listen to her music.
I don't listen to her music
But
either. She literally is just known as the Christmas song. Like all I want for Christmas is you. I froze her once.
okay. Anyway, let's talk about Krampus then.
Wait,
Um,
wait. Before we talk about Krampus, though, we gotta talk about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. We can't leave out my goat,
fuck me.
or I guess leave out
Fine,
my
we'll talk
reindeer.
about Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer.
That's like my
Okay.
favorite one. I love Rudolph.
Okay, so Rudolph, as I stated earlier, is Santa Claus's ninth and youngest reindeer, using his nose to illuminate Santa's sleigh on Christmas Eve. Though he initially, gets bullied as a baby for having his nose so bright that it like lights up everything in front of him. He kind of, in Ronald D. Lankford Jr.'s story, he saves the day, and he apparently the creator who made the story initially said that Rudolph's story is a fantasy story made in order for American children. Each child has the need to express and receive approval for the individuality and special qualities. Rudolph's story embodies the American dream for their child, writ large because of, I don't fucking know. This is a dumb quote. I'm throwing that out. It's a good book. It's a good book meant for kids to embrace their differences or some shit. I don't know.
I can respect it. I can respect it.
The story is owned by the Rudolph Company. What the fuck? Who, of course, made into a song, a TV special. The old one, like the stop motion one in 1964.
Yes,
Uh,
the famous one.
Yeah, he appeared in a bunch of different ones. He appeared in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Rudolph Shiny New Year, where I think he goes and helps the New Year baby. Rudolph and Frosty's Christmas in July. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the movie, the anime movie. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, another stop motion one. In many countries, Rudolph has become a figure for Christmas lore. 2014 marked the 75th anniversary of his character and the 50th anniversary of the original Rudolph special. Of course, Rudolph was created in 1939 as a assignment for a Chicago-based Montgomery Ward The retailer had been buying and giving away booklets for Christmas every year, and it was decided that they need to make their own book. So he basically named it Rudolph. Originally, he was actually going to call it Rollo or Reginald, but he came up with Rudolph, which is better because Rollo, the red-nosed reindeer, and Reginald, the red-nosed reindeer, do not fucking come off the tongue.
No, it does not. That sounds horrid, actually.
Basically, the retail store sold 2.4 million. Sorry, they didn't sell it. They gave it away. They gave away 2.4 million copies of the story. And the story is in the same poetic like rhythm as A Visit from Santa Claus, also known "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." The poem was, the song was in a different one. And he has different family depending on what interpretation you have. In Donner, he has Donner and Mrs. Donner, which are his parents in the 1964 Christmas special. So Donner is his dad in the original stop motion thing. Donner was his dad.
Remember that.
In the 1998 film, Blitzen was his dad. He had a brother called Rusty in the film Holidays, a cousin called Arrow in the 1998 film, and it was stated that in 1998's film, his uncles were actually Comet, Cupid, and Dasher, and Robbie is his son in Robbie the Reindeer, which is I think a BBC animated TV specials and stuff.
Yeah.
He has a son in Robbie the Reindeer. So what I'm seeing in all these interpretations is he is a Nepo baby.
Yeah, that's theoretically true. I didn't even know that. I kind of dislike that, kind of. I kind of wish he kind of just, just climbed up the ranks.
At the very least, that also claims that all the reindeer or all the reindeer on the team are related. So, or at least according to this, because in two interpretations, one of his dad's is Donner, one of his dad's Blitzen. And then in one of these interpretations, his uncle is Comet, Cupid, and Dasher. So I don't know. I know in the classic one, I don't think they are related, but in these later interpretations, they are. So take it like you need it.
Interesting. That's all about that's all for Rudolph, right? Because I don't know if there's anything more to talk about. What about
Apparently
KFC?
He thought KFC.
Japan. That's a.
You want me to explain why KFC is popular in Japan during Christmas?
Yeah, I mean Christmas, man. Japan. Colonel Sanders is pretty.
To talk about fucking Krampus, huh?
Because I feel like Krampus is gonna get very kind of. Because I know it's German descent, isn't it not?
Krampus is from.
I want to save the big bad for later. I want to save him for last.
He's not actually. He comes from Alpine.
What? I thought it was German.
Alps. No, it comes from Central and Eastern Alpine tradition, and is said to accompany Nicholas from European folklore, a different interpretation of yeah, actually no, I'll kick myself in the ass. Yeah, he comes from German and Czech folklore.
I knew
he comes from Germany, Czech Republic, Austria, Hungary, Liechtenstein, and Italy.
Well, I mean, might as well just describe, Krampus.
No, I'll talk to you about KFC in Japan since you want to fucking know that so much.
That's it was just a random thought that popped in my head. I'm like, oh yeah, KFC is very much Christmas themed.
Okay, so it turns out the entire thing can be traced back to one man, Takeshi Okawara, the enterprising manager of the first KFC in Japan, opened in Nagoya in November 1970. The company line is that Okawara had a dream about selling a party bucket full of chicken and started a one-store campaign to boost sales. Why did he even dream that? Allegedly, he overheard an expat saying that they missed eating turkey for Christmas and that chicken was the next best thing during this festive season. Whatever the case, Okawara's venture came to set the tone for Christmas in Japan for decades to come, especially after the winter of 1974. The fried chicken chicken party bucket went national in 1974 with the slogan "Kentucky is Christmas,"
Kentucky
cementing
is
the connection
Christmas.
between fried chicken and Christmas in the minds of many Japanese. And it seems it comes with, just a fuck ton of chicken. Jeez. The lack of Christian traditions associated with Christmas in Japan, and perhaps Colonel Sanders' resemblance to the traditional Santa Claus, meant that you could really just make a new custom pretty easily. Well, now, how big of a deal is it really? Well, apparently, oh my God, during Christmas, the Christmas sales, right? They make a third. They make a third of KFC's yearly sales
That's
is in December during the
insane.
Christmas time.
That's
A
insane.
third. A fucking third.
KFC ain't even that good, dog. Calm down.
So it's hardly a cheap experience either. The standard box with 8 pieces of chicken, a meat gratin, which I think is, I don't know what a meat gratin is, and a strawberry vanilla mouse cake. What?
Huh?
Yes, KFC Japan does cake. Huh.
Man, Japan always has something better than us.
49,000 yen in advance. 49,000 yen.
How much is that?
49,000. Sorry, 4,900. 4,990 yen to USD. So in order to, because they have, it's $32. It's not bad, really.
Oh,
like
what?
A bucket of 8-piece chicken, a cake, and whatever the fuck this thing is $30. $32? Did I say $32?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, $32. All that's $32.
It's not.
When you pre-order.
When you pre-order, it's not that bad.
Yeah, they start pre-ordering into November.
Oh, that's actually wild work. That is wild. You know, funny enough, like slightly related, but I've been ordering KFC lately because I keep getting free meals from them. So I get like 2 boxes from them, even, and I paid for like 1. So like I've been stuffing my face full.
So yeah, basically because one guy just was like, you know what? I got KFC. I got the first KFC. Let me make a campaign. And since then, you know how traditions start. Like one person does it, next person does it. Then like the kids grow up. And then they're like, you know what? I had KFC for Christmas. I remember that was good times. And he does it for his kids and his kids and his kids. And it keeps going. It becomes a trend and then everyone does it.
Yes.
A third of your yearly sales, though, is fucking stupid.
Yeah, that is kind of insane work. So now imagine what happens if we bomb all of Japan. They kind of lose like 1/3 of their sales. I'm not saying I'm doing it. I'm not saying I didn't say anything.
I think it's specifically Japan, KFC Japan sales. I think it's overall KFC sales. If it's overall KFC sales, then we have a problem. There's no fucking way.
Yes, I thought that was overall.
No. Well, it just says KFC. I'm pretty sure it means Japan KFC.
I don't know. It would be interesting to, because do they even
overall in the entire world a third of their sales? There's no way. There are not that many families in Japan. There's no reason.
You got me there. I can't argue with that.
Man,
all right, well,
Krampus.
I guess let's move on to Krampus. That's like the last thing, right? Or do you have like a lot of obscure things?
There are actually a couple of obscure like dudes.
Can
for
you
like Santa Claus like sidekicks?
We'll do Krampus and then try to do a quick fire round on those because I don't want to
care. I don't want basically Krampus in different colors, so I'm not really gonna talk about them.
Are they really? Are you serious? Yeah. All of those side characters are kind of just different reskins of Krampus. They literally
almost do the same thing of Krampus. I don't care which one came first or after. Krampus is like the popular one, and they all do basically the same thing.
That's insane. So we're not even gonna speed round fire those. Those are literally just the same character.
Dude, you can literally look them out, dog. Like related, like similar dudes. There are other guys who are basically just Krampus. And
what if that's like Krampus is like, what if that's the Krampus is a Spada? Like maybe that's all of his is like, around cars.
Into the pits of hell you go. Anyway.
Okay, you can tell I've been rewatching Bleach.
I know you were watching with fucking Zion.
I'm getting him into it. I'm getting him into it, dog.
I know you are. Anyway, so Krampus is a horned figure in central Germany and like all the mid-European places. who visits kids on the night of 5 December. Remember the whole like Feast of St. Nicholas thing on December 6th? Remember that earlier?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the night of 5th December is known as Krampusnacht, also known as Krampus Night. In this tradition, Santa Claus rewards well-behaved children with gifts, while Krampus punishes them with birch rods, which is a punishment which you strike a guy's ass with it.
Okay.
Yeah. The origin of the figure is unclear, with some folklorists and anthropologists stating that it came from pre-Christian traditions, although some people say it's kind of unlikely, and it can't be attested until 16th century. Anyway, in some traditional parades, such as events called the Krampus Run, some people dress up as Krampus to try scaring the crowd with their antics. Krampus is featured on holiday greeting cards called Krampus Karten. And of course, due to the world being the world, he eventually got imported into pop culture around the world and appears in movies, games, and TV shows. In 1975, there was a dude called John J. Honigman, who kind of like went around and kind of found out like this stuff where people like believe in Krampus. And he kind of says like, hey, maybe Krampus got absorbed into like the whole like devil thing, because he has a lot of devilish like.
He does like a lot of like original devil stuff with like the goat horns and like goat legs or something.
Yeah, so like they're said, well, you could look at to Saint Nicholas's Jesus, he is the devil basically. While Saint Nicholas gives good to those, Krampus says "fuck you" and then beats the shit out of kids. Better than Black Pete, who sells them to slavery. But
Krampus, it's literally the Joker fucking meme where it's all like, he's like, you're a Nazi. I thought that's not just some crazy disguise. I may be a lunatic, but I'm an American lunatic.
That's basically Krampus. He's like, I want to make kids. You know the American Dad episode where he beats kids because he wants them to be better. That's what I think Krampus is like. Actually, like he just beats them because he wants them to be better. And then Black Pete just fucking kidnaps them and sells them as slaves to the Spanish. That's fucking crazy.
He's like, I may beat and kill kids, but I don't enforce them into slavery.
He doesn't kill kids. He just beats them. He just beats them.
He just
beats them.
I mean, it's still funny.
So, according to some stuff, basically, Krampus is usually featured as a man with horns and one grotesque human foot and 1 foot of a goat. But I think most times he's kind of just double goat. So
yeah, I mean, I feel like it's one of those things where like designing wise, people just think it's easier to just do both legs.
Just two goats, yeah. He's usually covered in black fur with a very long snake or dragon-like tongue. And of course, these make him increasingly popular as a horror character-ish, you know, in films and costumes and stuff.
Yeah, in games.
In the 17th century, yeah, he was paired with Saint Nicholas as a helper, because Nicholas is, you know, a saint. He cannot give, you know, punishments. Therefore, he gets a helper, which includes Krampus, and I'm just going to speed run this here. The other Krampus-esque people, such as farmhand Rupert, Pierre Foutard, who is like, yeah, and of course Black Pete, sorry, who would go down the chimney and punish the naughty children. Krampus served Saint Nicholas in that same role that all the other ones are. They're all just the same guy, just different. Of course, after some election stuff in Austria, Krampus was actually prohibited by this like dude who was a dictator in Austria called Dolphus. It became illegal to celebrate Krampus because of like some fascist Christian social stuff. In 1950s, the government of Austria distributed pamphlets called Krampus is an Evil Man for fear that encounters with Krampus might damage a child's mental state. Towards the end of the century, they just did it again because fuck the government, and it continues to this day. The Krampus thing was also revived in Bavaria, as they make like wooden carved masks, which I think are pretty fucking cool. And of course, again, Krampus is usually shown in many different versions, like usually hairy, brown, black hair, uh,
Grotesque.
you know, at least 1 foot with like goat foot, sometimes like with just like meat human foot, which I actually have an image in front of me, and I think that is weird looking.
Okay, that's
Cloven foot, human foot. I don't like that. It like draws my eye to the human foot. I don't like it.
it does draw your eye to
Uh,
the human. It looks like it's like not. It's intentionally like that just so you feel a little more uncomfortable by it, which is kind of, I guess, the
yeah.
point. Because it's like weird
Uh,
saying a goat foot and then the other one's like a human foot.
so Krampus carries chains, as one knows. He thrashes the chains for dramatic effect. The chains sometimes are depicted with bells. Krampus will carry a bundle of birch branches in which he uses to beat children with. The birch branches are replaced with a whip in certain interpretations. I think most people kind of prefer the birch whips. It's kind of iconic. Of course, he travels together with Santa with a sack or basket strapped to his back. This is to cart off kids, to drown them, eat them, or transport them to hell. Transport them to hell! Some of the older versions make mentions of naughty children being brung away in a bag and taken away. These can be found in other companions of St. Nicholas, such as Black Pete.
So you may have just said that he
So
doesn't.
I spoke too soon. He doesn't enslave them. He brings them to hell or drowns them or eats them. Never fucking mind.
Okay, well, I'm gonna be honest.
That was too harsh.
Gonna be honest. Gonna be honest. I still don't want to be sent to slavery.
Hell is better?
I would say so. Yeah, I'd rather get sent to damnation. I don't want to be enslaved.
Good.
Yeah.
Anyway,
wait. So is Krampus the one sending them to hell?
Yeah, it seems like he gets kids like in that image, puts them in the bag, and then just brings them to hell.
So I was right. My joke was right. I was like, I can beat and kill kids, but whoa, I don't enslave them.
He in fact does. Okay, so I think like for normally bad kids, he beats them, but I guess for like the evil children, he just brings them to hell or eats them or kills them using water. Water is excessive. The fuck you mean using water?
What does that mean?
Actually, I have a fuck. I do have a link for this.
He brings them to hell is what kills me. He's like, all right, you've been too naughty. And Santa gave me the A-OK, so yeah, let's go meet the devil. It's like, what?
This is according to a journal called Folklore. They put that there, I guess, from like written verbal things. Like they just compiled it and put that there. That's insane. That's literally in an article they have, dog. What the fuck? Okay, this is word for word.
That's funny. I can't get over that.
God, that's insane. Fucking drowns kids and sends them to hell is an insane fucking statement.
Wait, so in that statement, is it saying that's combined? Like you drown and then go to hell, or
no?
that's
I
like
think
two things?
it's or either you get drowned, you get eaten, or you go to hell. I don't know which in what ascending order. Like okay, so at the very least, you're getting beaten with like birch sticks, which is bad, right? And then does it go? You get eaten? No, I assume drowning is the next step. Well, drowning's bad, and then are you eaten alive? So like little by little, you get eaten. And then hell is the worst one, like straight to hell. Are they going to hell anyway? Or is it like you sending them to hell like for certain and then everything else they're going to heaven? You're just making it horrible?
I don't know, because like
hell too. Is hell the best option? Like straight to hell is the best one, and then you're drowning and you go to hell and being eaten alive and going to hell? Is hell the best option? Is straight up hell the best option on this list?
He's like, you're kind of bad, but you don't look tasty, and you're not that bad where I'm gonna have to drown you, so just take my hand, we're going to hell real quick. That's your new home.
That's horrid.
That is horrid. You brought up so many good points too. Like, what's the ascending order of actually bad? Because like they say kids are like innocent, even if like they say like they're symbols of like purity. So even if they do bad, like the
Yeah.
ideal is that if you kill a kid, they will still go to heaven. So like my ideal is just like, at least for olden times, my ideal is that like if you drown a kid, it's probably still gonna go to heaven. So I'm assuming hell is still the worst outcome because
So
you don't
like
want to
the
see a
other
kid in
ones,
hell.
there's a 50-50, right? But then in this one, it's just straight up, you're going to hell.
I like to think Krampus eats you alive and you die, and then like later he sends a kid to hell and he just looks and you're over there and he's like, "Did I just eat him? Damn, I didn't know he was gonna be sent down here." He like double
I
takes.
hate it. I hate it. God damn it.
He's like, "Yeah, I just ate you."
All right. So that's Krampus in all of his glory. Jesus fucking Christ. Um.
That's like pretty much all those
So
companions, right?
yeah, I'm not naming the other ones. Fuck them. I'm naming the cool ones. Anyway, as a little sidebar, just because I kind of want to be a little silly. Let's talk about Santa Claus in comics, and then we can wrap it up.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like
Everyone knows
Santa thanked Squidward.
That is true. It's
Yeah,
true.
because I was like, "Thank you, Squidward." Oh, and he's like, "Oh, ho, 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 ho." Or whatever the fuck he did in the like last 2 minutes of the episode.
Uh, oh my god. So everyone knows Santa is in Marvel. I think he's listed as a mutant. I can't remember. But as everyone knows, Santa is, uh, magic in Marvel Comics. He,
Yeah, I don't know what he does
he's magic.
specifically in Marvel. I know he does in DC.
I can't remember. I think one time, like, yeah, I remember. One time, he went to go like, Deadpool got paid by kids to go kill Santa, and like Santa pulls up, and then Mrs. Claus pulls out a gun and shoots him. I think that was funny. Yeah. Oh, fucking Ghost Rider was hunting down Krampus, and
What?
then fucking Santa Claus showed up one time.
He's like, "Stop! He's my helper."
Yeah, basically, he's like, "Hey, dude, what the fuck are you doing?" And
What? Ghost Rider is every fuck.
I'm sorry. He 1v1's Krampus.
Oh,
And if you think I'm shitting you, I literally have the image. He actually just 1v1s him, and he apparently seals him away. And then when Krampus gets released, Ghost Rider goes after him.
oh my god! He won. Santa Claus actually like full. Why does he look like the devil?
Because
Krampus
that's
actually.
Krampus, dog.
Krampus in this interpretation actually looks like one of those like the classic drawing images of like like actually Lucifer.
I love comics. But yeah, no, he's a strong. He appears in like 6, 7 like different stories.
I hate the internet. Go on. Go on, just go
What?
on. Just go on.
Okay. Apparently, during one comic, Doctor Doom captures him and becomes Santa Doom or something. But
Santa Doom?
I wish I was fucking with you, dog. I wish I was. You know, I'm about to send you this image. You know, this is an old comic, but yeah, here we go. Santa Doom. I wish I was joking.
I
He
am
literally captures
Santa Doom!
Santa goes to Latveria to give him a present to Doctor Doom because, Doctor Doom isn't always bad, right? So he gives him a present, but then Doctor Doom has a trap, intruder trap, which captures Santa.
Oh.
So Doom is like, you know what? No, Doom kind of has a trap for like the Fantastic Four, and Santa falls for it. And so Doom is like, oh my God, Santa, I'm sorry. And then Santa Claus is like, no, replace me for Christmas.
What?
And then Doom is like, what? Why the fuck would I do that? And Santa's like, no, I'll give you any present you want. And Doom was like, oh, fuck.
Fine, any present.
Santa. And so Doom goes, he fights the Fantastic Four, he fights the Avengers, and then keeps giving gifts to people, right? Weeks later, when Santa is fully recovered, Doom gives him a farewell, right? And is like, one day Doom will see you again, and like he's kind of like doing his evil shit. But Santa's like, he like gives him like a pat on the shoulder. It's like, I'm gonna see you later, best bud. And like he offered to give like Doom whatever he wanted, But previously, Doom like got a like he gave a girl a teddy bear, but when he was fighting the Avengers, he like the girl interrupted them and gave Doom her teddy bear, and then Doom kept that and he was like, I don't need a present, I have this, which like confused Santa, and then Santa went home.
So it's like,
Which
I
I
don't
thought
want
was
you to show me your fucking weird doll. Like, okay.
uh I fucking I thought Doctor Doom was so cool. So according to you know what Cerebro is for the X-Men?
No.
Oh my god, hear me out. So according to Cerebro, oh wait, you don't know what Cerebro is, huh? So X-Men, the Cerebro is used by Professor X. It lets him hunt down mutants, like mind meld with mutants, like a huge machine, right?
Yes, yeah, I do
It
know
also
that.
helps
Yeah.
them like scale their power, right? So according to the Cerebro in Marvel Holiday Special #1, as well as the official handbook of the Marvel Universe, Santa Claus is an Omega level mutant and the most powerful mutant ever registered by Cerebro.
Crazy. So Santa is canonically like dope as hell in Marvel.
Yeah. Oh wow. As a group person, Santa tends to call everyone by their first name, even Doctor Doom. Uh, Yikes.
Guess that
He just
makes
called everyone by their
sense.
first name.
I guess that makes sense. I mean, he knows
Cool.
everyone's name. He like checks his naughty. Yeah, we didn't discuss where he gets the naughty list and happy like the good list from.
I think it was born from the song.
Okay.
I know that. It was born from the song. And then it just became part of his shtick.
How about the 25th?
Oh, that was when Jesus was born, and when that became Christmas, and that kind of became the holiday for Americans. We didn't do the 5th and 6th, and we just had it on the 25th.
Okay.
DC.
Yeah, the only thing I know, I know a few things from DC, but the one I like to think of is the one like Larfleeze Stole to Christmas, which is just more funny because it's the Grinch who stole to Christmas, which is another caricature that exists around Christmas. Is just the Grinch, but he's not anything to do with Santa. You know Larfleeze,
So
right?
this is yeah, the Orange Lantern.
Yeah, Orange Lantern. Yeah.
Yep, yep. Due to the DC having all types of fucked up shit and is like kind of contriving different accounts of like Santa. As everyone knows, I think I've said before, like the one story where he every year he goes to Apocalypse to give like
Yeah, they give him one piece of coal.
to Apocalypse, not Apocalypse, fucking Darkseid, and Darkseid tries his hardest to set up traps for him, but unlike Doctor Doom, he doesn't have that dog in him, and Santa always gets through. Holy shit, you know Sandman?
Yeah, the Sandman.
Yeah, he knows Santa.
They're
Hell,
chill.
Superman knows Santa.
Okay. Well, I mean, I expect Superman. That makes sense. You know, he is like poster child of like goodness.
So in DC Rebirth, Black Adam was moved after hearing an orphan in Kahndaq wish for gifts as Santa never comes to their country. Wonder why. He travels to the North Pole where he uncovered ancient Myra. There he battled the elves and trolls who guarded the city before coming face to face with Claus of Myra, a powerful wizard who had hidden the city in ice. He and his followers spoke in Greek language. Black Adam, however, was able to overpower him and told him to give gifts to every child in Kahndaq, accepting a lump of coal for himself if need be. I don't like the interpretation of Santa. Basically, it just said like he just 1v1 Santa and won and told him to give gifts to kids, even if like Black Adam gets coal, which is cool guy, I guess. I don't know. That's kind of... Oh, he's also good at firearms in DC Universe.
I guess Santa knows how to bear arms.
He's immortal, of course. He's magic. In the Prime Earth version, he's a powerful wizard, but it's not strong enough to fight Black Adam. But that was during DC Rebirth, and I ignore that. I'm kidding. I ignore New 52. I'm joking. You guys don't get it. Oh, he has a Justice League membership card.
He's part of the Justice League.
I mean, shit, I guess.
They're all like, "Fuck! Did we call all the members of the Justice League?" He's like, "I didn't call Santa, but like, do we even really call Santa for crisis moments?"
That's insane. Canner, blah 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 blah. What the fuck? Santa Claus has a doppelganger in the CW Arrowverse. The demon elf Claus of the North comes from Earth 13. He was cursed to give too much of his belongings to other individuals. He was described as well as the Gray to be a selfless elf who gives too much of his possessions away to other people, especially kids. Once had the giant gorilla named Kong as roommate. Despite constantly advancing apocalyptic defenses and weaponry, Santa Claus manages to personally give. Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. In CW Arrowverse, he exists on Earth 13, which is some bullshit.
So, like, I mean, the real question is, which one do you prefer, Marvel Santa or DC Santa?
I think I prefer Marvel Santa because I can't find a lot of info on DC Santa. DC Santa's funny because like he has the whole dark side thing.
I think that's the only thing he got going for him in DC is the dark
But
side
like,
thing.
look at that shit in Marvel, dog. He's 1v1ing Krampus and shit. He was chilling with Doctor Doom, dog. Doom respects Santa. Excuse me. I'm sorry. That's peak cinema.
that is kind of peak. I can't even lie. That is peak. Santa is just chilling with Doctor Doom of all people.
And yeah, I think that's all I got for today's episode.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything. I mean, we could talk about Futurama Santa Claus.
Where he's evil as fuck.
Yeah, and he has a machine gun and he just like guns people down. What was? Did he have a different name?
Oh shit, I can't remember. Santa from future.
I mean, also, what about what's his name? Jack Frost? Is he a Santa? Like, isn't he Santa helper?
Oh, I had him and then I took him out. So Jack Frost is the interpretation of just cold, of frost, of ice, of winter, of freezing cold. He's like a variant of Old Man Winter, which is a personification of just winter. Jack Frost is specifically just freezing, biting cold.
So from what
He's not Santa.
So he's kind of like Mother Nature in a way, where he's just like he's just a representation of something.
Yeah, he's just a representation. Yes.
For Futurama, Santa is real, but he's a robot. He believes everyone except for Dr. Zoidberg is naughty and must be punished with extreme violence. So people they don't say Christmas, they say Xmas. Is that where Xmas comes from?
No, Xmas comes from cross. So cross is Christmas. So Xmas.
Okay.
The cross. You know, the cross.
Oh, yeah.
Cross, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Because I was gonna say, like, I did not. Yeah. Santa's in the Narnia.
Huh?
That's wait. What in the hell he's in Narnia? The Chronicles of Narnia. Wait, I actually gotta do my own research here. Narnia.
Santa Narnia. Father of Christmas. Yes.
Why the fuck is he in Narnia?
He's in the movie.
Yeah, he's in the movie of Narnia. He's just chilling, I think. Does that make Narnia a Christmas movie?
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut yo bitch ass up. Yeah, he was literally in the first movie. Am I high? I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either.
It's been so long since I watched fucking Narnia. That's probably it.
I know Santa is in Doctor Who. I'm trying to remember how the episode goes, though. Because like this wiki article is actually dog shit. There's so many like web links. I just want to read like a simple line. I'll just go to the wiki page because you could trust the wiki page. It's not made by AI.
Yes, that's true.
The doctor,
his interpretation. Oh, wait, continue.
the doctor teams up with Santa Claus, and they don't really like each other because Doctor believes Santa Claus is not real, but Santa Claus is like, I'm very much fucking real, and they fight like an alien, like together. They fight an alien together, and like his elves are just normal guys. I think that's how the episode goes. I think they also time travel and they give like the companion's like boyfriend like a toy. I don't remember. That's a long time ago. But yeah, apparently Santa's real in Doctor Who as well. I did not know he was in Narnia though. The fuck?
I don't remember that, dog. Fucking hell.
He's probably in a lot of things we don't know, like surprisingly. I mean, he's in SpongeBob.
I'm waiting for fucking you know who to mention that Santa Claus is in you know what.
He is not in that. However, I know what you're talking about. However, they have an interpretation of the. This is gonna sound so confusing to anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, but I'm gonna make it like that. But they have an interpretation of the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future, but they're reindeers. Anyways, let's end today's episode. That's a Christmas. That's Santa Claus. Because I can't think of anything else to talk about Christmas related.
I can't think of anything else either.
Yes. So that is pretty much. So that's this episode.
Yeah.
That's ghost topic. That's this episode. Hope you guys have a great upcoming Christmas, as we stated. Also,
hey, what's any preview to what the next topic is?
No.
All right.
Yeah, and also have a happy Hanukkah because Hanukkah started yesterday, technically.
Oh, did it? Shit,
by the time this podcast comes out, Hanukkah would have started already. So happy Hanukkah to those who celebrate that. I wouldn't know anything. I'm pretty much inept to any other holiday that isn't Christmas, so I'm not sure how Hanukkah fully works out. Other than it's 8 days, I think, right?
14, I thought.
Maybe you're right. 14 days. I thought Hanukkah ends.
I might be dumb.
Because I thought Hanukkah ends on the 25th, and it starts on the 14th.
It is 14th to 22nd.
The 22nd. Well, I was wrong anyways.
It is 8 days. I'm fucking... I know my shit.
I was right about the days.
Candles.
Yeah, because 8 candles, it's like 8 days long, and I think each day you get a gift because it's supposed to...
Sorry, it's 9 candles.
I'm
stupid.
Oh, so I was wrong anyways. 9 candles. 9 days. Candles. Also, Canada or maybe other places in the world that's not America, they call it Boxing Day, right? For Christmas, like the day you open gifts is Boxing Day.
Oh, for anyone confused why it's 9 candles, 8 days, it's because the middle one is always lit, and then on the first day you add the second one, and so on and so forth. Dreidel, dreidel, dreidel. I made it out of clay. Anyway, that's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got. So hope you guys have a great holidays and a happy new year too, technically by the And me and Ghost.
All a good Christmas and all a good night.
See you guys in the next one. See ya.